After the last two set builds, I found myself back at the studio where it was time to create a portrait. I headed off home, this time jumped on the phone onto Pinterest, where I came along some great characters, fishermen, and that sparked my latest idea for the portrait, and a fisherman's tale was born. I set about my usual process of writing down my ideas, items that I may need for the shoot, and then I followed my usual style and I set about creating a mood board. I found the pictures that I wanted and basically I just printed them off crudely on black and white print on paper, and then I headed into the studio and I pinned them up for our model to see, for me to see, and Gez, and this way we can always pay reference to the images that we are doing. I then sourced some props online. These were small items and they were quite cheap to get and readily available, so it's quite possibly easy to collect along the way. I also had one or two items that I could recycle, dig out, and the goldfish bowl was something that I had from a previous shoot. Once the parcels arrived, I opened up the bib and braces that were actually a cheaper version of original sort of oilskins or fisherman bib and braces at just about sort of £25. It was a bit of a snip to say the least. I then popped next door to the garage where the boys that know me well were expecting me, and they decided to keep some old engine oil by so that I could take the rather pristine overalls, stick them on a shelf and then start grunging them down. This was a particularly messy job, to be honest, and gloves were necessary, and I set about making it look like the fisherman has been working on his boat. I then headed down to the local market to pick up some fresh fish for the shoot the day before.
Hi folks, how wonderful is it to be back here at Skin Creative with Ian Munro and Gez Williams. It's been a while because of the pandemic. Now we're doing a shoot today called A Fisherman's Tale, and of course we're doing it in conjunction with Sony, which I'm really looking forward to being involved with, and let's see what the madness of Ian Munro comes up with.
I then introduced Foxy to the mood board in the studio, where I give him some direction. We spoke about the posing and how he's going to actually hold the goldfish bowl. Foxy needed no introduction to jump straight into the oilskins. He also then jumped straight into character with no trouble at all. Since Foxy was already in character, I decided to give him the task of butchering the fish because it needed to go around his neck, and I'm sure that it fitted him well. We then sat Foxy into the chair to look at some compositional things, and then I decided to get myself familiar with Sony's auto eye tracking. It was during this time where the tracking was shifting from head tracking to eye tracking that I really realized just how much of a shifty character Foxy is. I then set about going to my go-to settings, 1/160th, f8, ISO 100, before zooming in and taking the face recognition straight down to eye recognition at the half press of a button. This picked Foxy up straight away, and any movement that he made was tracked brilliantly by the Sony camera without missing a heartbeat. So now it's down to business. The laughing and joking stops. After all, we are working with live animals, well, one at least, and Foxy. So there's a certain element of a balancing act that needs to come together. And of course, the three elements of Foxy holding the fish bowl, the fish that's spinning on the line, plus the two around his neck. So there's a lot of things that have to come together for the shoot. This was a particularly difficult shoot, and juggling these took more than one take. It really was worth it in the end, because the final image we were all absolutely over the moon with. I think you'll agree there's plenty of detail, lots going on, and an element of humour.